upon them program.
What is up, guys? It's Thursday. I know that I have been a little bit of MIA, but I got some sort of nasty infection. So I have been out for the count. I haven't been training. I haven't been training clients. And basically I've just been doing the bare minimum to get by. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I got some antibiotics, so that is good news. And obviously I haven't done one of the Fit for Free workouts this week, but I will be doing that. Hopefully I'll get a chance to film it tomorrow, and then post it for you guys tomorrow as well. So that one will be an upper body resistance band workout because one of you guys requested it, so I'm going to do that. But today I wanted to talk about a little bit about my own personal journey in fitness, and then touch on the whole process of me quitting my job to do what I do and to be an online coach. And I get a lot of questions about how I got here, how fast I got here. Fast is not fast. And so I thought it would be a good time to do a video and give you guys a little bit of an idea of my background and my story. So if you're interested, let's do it. So just to give you a little bit of a background story, I have basically been the chubby kid, the chubby friend my entire life, at least from the most part, from when I remember. We moved to Canada from Bosnia in '95, and I think that was the year that basically my weight gain started. So I was 8 years old at that point. So pretty much my entire life I have been a little bit overweight, if you will, by society standards. And yeah, I struggled with it quite a bit from a physical perspective. I mean, when you're a growing teenager, you're already awkward, you're already having self-esteem issues, so weight was definitely not helping me. And I tried, you know, the quick fixes, the fad diets, the as seen on TV, anything that you can think of, I tried it. I remember in grade 6, how sad is that people do that when they're like 10. Grade 6, wrapping myself up in saran wrap and walking on the treadmill with one of my girlfriends because she heard that's how you lose weight. There's times where I didn't eat. There's times where I tried ridiculous diets. Even up until I think when I was like 16, I tried stupid things like taking too much hydroxycut and then felt so sick and didn't know what was wrong with me. So basically I've done the whole roller coaster ride of diets. And my own fitness journey didn't actually start till, I want to say, my last year of high school. Yeah, when I wanted to get ready for my grad. So I had bought a grad dress and I made a goal to get in shape and get ready for grad. So I became a cardio bunny and I cut out a lot of food. And by the time grad came along, my dress had to be taken in like 4 sizes. So it worked. It totally worked. But it didn't really build any healthy habits or things for me to take away with for the rest of my life. So I went on to college, university right away after that. And then of course started partying 2 to 5 times a week, going out, eating fast food after I went out, and the weight came back and more weight came back. And I found myself in this yo-yo back and forth, feeling shitty, decreasing my calories, cutting out a shit ton of food, doing extra cardio, losing some weight, going back on the cycle, and so on. I'm sure this is not a new story. So at that point, I was going to school, I had a serving job, and I decided to get a part-time job at a local gym that I was going to. So that's kind of the time where the real fitness transition really happened, where I started to learn about weight training, and that became a huge aspect of my fitness journey. Obviously, I learned more about what I needed to eat, what my body needed for as fuel. I think at that time we were doing AFLCA as the course, so we did nutrition and fitness through AFLCA. And so I did learn quite a bit from them, and obviously through experience with working with people. So that was kind of the real start of my journey personally and as a coach. From then on, I decided I didn't really want to work for anybody else when it came down to fitness, and I really didn't see a career in fitness at this point. Let me just put that out there. I was going to school for psychology. I had taken a couple medical science classes, a couple nutrition classes, but only because I was curious and it was part of my courses that I could take. But at this point, nowhere in my mind was I thinking that I was going to do this for a job. So just keep that in mind. So I quit the gym. So now what? I still wanted to do this on the side. I wanted to do it because I loved it and because I had found something for myself. I had sort of found myself at that point through fitness, and it really helped me gain confidence in my abilities, not necessarily because of my body, but more so because I was doing things that I wouldn't normally be doing. I was joining activities I would be maybe scared to try, if that makes sense. So I really wanted to share that with other people. I wanted to empower other women. So it kind of worked out that I worked with a lot of women at the restaurant. So I started running boot camps, doing like little mini challenges. I started training people from my parents' basement, pretty much fitnessing, if you will, as much as I could on the side while going to school and while serving and having that part-time job. So I started to get a little bit more personally into fitness at that point, and was curious about competing, doing photo shoots, bikini shows, and so on. So at that point, my phone's going, but I'm gonna ignore it. At that point, I had decided to do a photo shoot, my first ever photo shoot. And I remember hearing all these things, how you're not supposed to eat carbs, and that's how you get ready for a photo shoot. And you have to cut out all your carbs out of your diet. And keep in mind, this was like 8, 9 years ago, so it was a long time ago. And I knew nothing real about nutrition, no real science about nutrition. So I had cut out all my carbs, but I was eating things like cheese, nuts, anything that wasn't a carb, hence it wasn't a starch. So basically I was eating chicken and fat all the time. Somehow I was in enough calorie deficit that I ended up being a tiny little thing for this photo shoot. And it was the start of my fitness journey. So even though I did it wrong, if you would, in today's way of thinking, it definitely got my foot in the door to get moving. It started the snowball, and I guess it got me to where I am today. So that was the first photo shoot I did. I was super awkward. I'm gonna try to put in some of those photos for you guys so you can actually see what it looked like. But you get better with practice, right? So I did that photo shoot, and while I was serving one night, I served this lady and her husband who he was getting ready for a show. And so she was like, you know what, you should do a show. I was telling her how I wanted to do it. So she was like, you should totally do it. So I think there was a Miss Bikini Calgary, one of those shows coming up. And so I entered in that right away. I think it was within like a 2-week span. Got some bikini from Swimco. Did that and won the contest. And then there was an overall and I won that one. And so I was like, okay, this is fun. I should keep doing this. I should try a fitness show. So I got ready for my first show in 4 weeks. So that was quick. I actually had no idea what I was doing when I went on stage. I kind of looked at the girl beside me and posed like they did and figured it out, and I ended up placing third. So it just goes to show you, honestly, your first show, you shouldn't put a lot of pressure on it. The first show is about getting your feet wet, getting experience, having fun, testing it out, and seeing if it is for you. So after the first show, I was kind of hooked, and that's kind of where my competition journey started. So during this whole time, on the side, I was training a little bit more. I started taking a couple more courses in training. But again, I was getting my psychology degree, and it was just something on the side. I was just doing it because one of my clients would tell her girlfriend and she would want to get training, so we would do it, and so on. So it was, again, still definitely in the back of my mind, not something that I had, as a goal that I was working towards, not something that I saw as being my future. So I finished my degree. I was continuing to compete at this point, train people on the side, and work at the restaurant. So after I completed my degree, I got my first big girl job in an office, and that was going really well. I worked there actually for a few years. I loved it, and it gave me the flexibility to take on more training clients and to do more programming. And then I did a couple more courses online, which I really liked. And I started to really see my love for fitness from a different light and from a different perspective. And there kind of came a pivotal point where I was working at that job, training for a competition. I was doing client meal plans at lunch, doing plans after work, training clients after work. All weekends I was training clients and doing their programs. I was staying up till 2 in the morning. Everybody else was partying. I was at home working. So I kind of saw that there was something, that I had some sort of passion in this. But again, I'm one of those people that you can slap me in the face with it and I still won't see it. So I just kept trucking and ignored the fact that I should quit my job and go do this. So I continued on with my big girl job for a while. And then came a point where I was going to transition into a different job in the same line of career. And I remember Marcus actually sitting me down and being like, is this what you really want to do? Are you sure? I mean, you have clients on a wait list. You love training. I think that you should just go for it. And not gonna lie to you guys, I basically shit my pants making this decision because it was the hardest decision I've ever made. I was raised in a European household where you get a real job, a 9-to-5 job. You go there, it's secure, they pay you, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry about it. Fitness wasn't even a thing. It definitely wasn't a real career. So I made the jump anyways. And I remember I was actually just talking to Marcus and Evan about this last night. The first day where my 2-week notice was up and I woke up and I didn't have to go to work. And it was such a surreal feeling where you wake up and you're like, okay, I can do whatever I want today. I get to work, but I get to do whatever I want to do for work. So that was pretty awesome. And I think that was like a point where I'm like, okay, I'm where I need to be. I wish that was kind of like the fairy tale after that. But like I said, I come from a very strict European family. So I didn't speak to my dad for 6 months, I think. Up to 6 months after I had quit my real job. He was furious. He helped me a lot to get through school and psychology, and he was quite disappointed that I didn't follow through with what I was going to do. So that was a very difficult time. But my dad is the kind of person that you just have to prove it to him. So I hustled. I worked my ass off. I worked day and night every single day to show him that I could do it, to show myself that I can do it, because obviously I was terrified. Was I even going to be able to pay my bills at this point? So I hustled. I did as much work as I possibly could. I took on more clients. I did more events. I got involved in more things so I can get my name out there. And I think within those 6 months, I was making the same salary that I was making at this corporate job that I had worked so long to get there and worked through my career to get there. So I think at that point my dad saw kind of that I was serious, that this wasn't just like I don't want to work anymore, so I quit my job. So I think from that point on, Dad was on the fitness train. Funny enough, I actually ended up training a lot of my dad's friends and my mom's friends. So really it has become like a little family thing. And we haven't had issues since, because I'm a huge daddy's girl, if you guys know anything about that. That was probably the hardest 6 months of my life. And sorry, but I have to drink this probiotic drink here because that antibiotic has literally destroyed my gut. But this is a strawberry coconut flavor and it's delicious. Anyways, so here we are. I quit my job. I'm doing my training thing, working online and in person. Of course, I do train people in person. I don't just do online, but probably about 80% of my business is online. So I know a lot of people see this and they think, oh my God, that would be the greatest job ever. I want to work for myself. I want to do whatever I want. I want to chill. And I hear that a lot. And I cannot help but laugh when people say they want to chill. I don't chill. I don't ever chill. And mind you, yes, my personality is naturally super go, go, go. But there is no chill in a business where you work for yourself, because you're constantly working. There is no time where you get to, punch that time card and get to go home. And especially if you work from home. So I'd probably say one of the biggest challenges is learning when to stop working, when to stop work, when to take a day off. You know what I mean? Learning to take time off for yourself, hence my example of being sick for God knows how long right now, and separating your work from home. Because you are in your environment where you're naturally comfortable and relaxed, and that's your time to be away from work, and now you've brought your work into it, you don't have that natural separation of environment anymore. So it's up to you to really find, a workplace, a place to remove yourself and just work, and then leave that place once you're done and spend time with your family and have that work-life balance. And that's something that I still am learning as I go through this. And so I know a lot of the time, a lot of you guys have emailed me and we've met for coffee, quite a few of you guys, to discuss these things and to discuss maybe a future in this career. So I thought it would be good to kind of just share this story here. And if you still want to talk after this, then cool, let's do it. If not, cool. The video kind of did the trick. So there are definitely people who are meant to do this, I would say, and people who aren't. And that's not saying like you shouldn't be doing this. It's saying that you have to want this and you have to be super passionate about it. And by this, I mean coaching. The thing that people, I think, like cross and what gets you to the point where you're confused and you think that you should be a fitness coach is the fact that you love working out and that you've had your own transformation and it's really inspired you and you love it so much, so you think that you want to coach people. Coaching people is absolutely nothing like training and eating and going to the gym and living this lifestyle. It is absolutely nothing like it. I would say that I use my psychology degree in this business 80% of the time more than I use it in my old career, and probably 80% of the time more than I use any other education I've obtained over the last 10 years for fitness and nutrition, which is super funny, but that's what it is. That is a job of a coach. A coach is a lot like a teacher. So you have to be able to expend energy on people all day long and know that you are their source of motivation, even though it shouldn't be like that. It is. A lot of the time, you're their source of motivation. You have to be the butt kick. You have to be the person that keeps them going. So it's not just about the fact that you love to lift weights and you love to eat healthy, or even that you have knowledge of nutrition and training. There is so much more that goes with this entire process. And I think that's where people get skewed in thinking that this is the job for them. You could love training, but you may absolutely hate coaching. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but a lot of the time it is, especially because it's difficult for us to understand things we don't understand, things we can't relate to. So you may love fitness and you may be in the part of your journey where you're gung-ho and you think it's awesome and you think it's great, but your client may come to you and be completely unmotivated and hate training, and it might be like pulling teeth to get them to go to the gym 3 times a week. And they might think that, eating vegetables alone is super, super hard, but that is something that you will have to deal with. So be prepared if you do want to be an online coach, if you do want to be a fitness coach, and any sort of coach really, that is something that you will have to deal with. And that is the job. Your job as a coach is to motivate, is to educate, and is to find a way to get people to want to do it, or at least to get them to do it until they want to do it. And I think this is where our whole, I don't want to say young generation because I feel like every age is doing it now, but everybody wants to be a fitness coach. Everybody wants to join this fit fam that started, which is cool, which is awesome. If that's what you're motivated to do, I highly encourage you to chase and follow your dreams. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying a lot of people see where Tasty Fitness, where Tight and Curvy, where that brand has come now. They see it at this point where it's at, but they don't know that the journey that it's been through. They don't know that this took 10 years to build. It's just that 5 years ago, nobody knew or gave a shit about Tasty Fitness or knew who I was or what this brand was, right? So you have to hustle in silence for a really long time before you can actually reap the benefits of success and chill, if you ever really get to chill in owning your own business. So if you're sitting there and you're still like, yeah, I still want to do this, I totally want to do this, those things don't turn me off from becoming a coach. I want to help people, I want to teach people how to better themselves, then the first thing that I suggest that you do is find a mentor and let that person help you and guide you in how to get to the place you want to be. So I definitely had a mentor along my journey. I know a lot of people that I've helped mentor as well to get to their career goals, well, to where they are now. None of us are, hopefully not at the peak of where we're going to be. The great thing about this is it never really ends. It's your business. You can grow it. You can build it to whatever you want it to be. You just have to be willing to put in the work. And then, of course, the other thing is that you need to commit all of your spare time, not just some of it, all of it. And especially if you still have to have another job to pay the bills while you're building this business. One of the hardest things is that people don't realize that it's not, I'll put in hours worth of work every single day and that will add up. Unfortunately, no, because there's people who are hustling 10 times harder than you and they're going to catch up to you and then they're going to surpass you. So you need to work harder than your biggest competition. And that's really what it comes down to. So while everybody else is partying it up at the bars on weekends, if you're trying to grow a successful business, you shouldn't be partying it up at the bars on the weekends. You should be at home hustling. And that's what will get you to that place. I know it must sound like a shitty reality, but that is the reality of it. And I mean, you can get by. I'm not saying that you can't. You can totally get by being that person and still having your business. But if you want your business to grow, to flourish, to be a business that has made a name for itself, you have to do that. You have to put in everything you've got into that business. The third thing I would say is social media. Social media is a huge, huge factor. For me personally, up until I probably say like 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, referrals have been the best way to grow my business. I've basically trained a friend of a friend of a friend and their family and their sisters and their daughters and so on. So that's really how this business has grown, honestly, since the beginning. But in this day and age, and especially now, today, social media is so, so huge and it's free for the most part. So utilize it the best that you can. I'm going to be doing another video on how to grow your social media and how to better your social media. So I will do that for you guys. So that will hopefully be helpful in this aspect, but utilize it while you can. If you're thinking of growing your business, but you don't even have an Instagram account, you're already behind, whether you like it or not, and I always say that to people, and I said this to Mike Hyra, who now has an Instagram account, shout out to Mike, whether you like it or not, that's the way. Like I said, still sick, sorry guys. Whether you like it or not, that is the way that not only the industry, the world is going. So if you want to make a relevant footprint in the industry, you're going to have to come up with a social media account and give people something different. So I think number 4 would be that. You have to give people something that they don't already have. And that's, I think, what people really miss when they're trying to start an online business. And this doesn't have to apply just to being a coach and fitnessing, if you will. If you're trying to sell the same thing everybody else is, if you're giving out things that Google can give, you may get initial clients, but you're not going to get lasting clients. And I think that's one of the most important things about running a successful business is that you have long-term clients, that you're not always running like a chicken with your head cut off looking for new clients. Yes, new clients are coming, but those clients are building your business. They're not just replacing the old clients that just left because they realize that they can find it elsewhere for cheaper or whatever. So you have to build that connection, and you have to give clients something different and something that they can't get elsewhere. So, I mean, obviously your own experience is going to be huge. Let's wrap that all into number 5. Your education, your knowledge, but all of those things should already be a given, right? Like if you're doing this as a business, you should probably know what you're talking about. You should probably have some motivation towards it, some education towards it. I mean, I don't favor education or experience because I've seen people who've had 25 years of experience and minimal education and know everything they're talking about inside out and vice versa, right? So you could be a practice person, you could be by the books person, you could be both. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you know your shit, obviously. So those are the things that I would say are super crucial if you are looking to start your online business, and that's kind of what I really wanted to point out and put out there, as well as my own little personal journey. So where I'm at now, we should close with that. So obviously, I'm sure if you guys follow me, you know that I haven't competed in a year now. I took this past year to work on my business, to grow the business, to focus there, and to, of course, plan my wedding, because that was basically like doing a prep within itself. So I don't know if I will compete again. I'm not really sure. I feel like before I got sick and all of this happened, and I really started to kind of neglect myself, I found a place where I was very comfortable with body-wise, food-wise. I had a very healthy relationship with food. I think throughout my competition journey, I've never found a very unhealthy relationship with food, if you will. I know a lot of people talk about binging and then depriving themselves. I've never really struggled with that. I've more so struggled with body image and the transition from competition ready to regular person and back and forth. And there was a lot of times where I didn't do my part and I didn't stay as lean as I could have, and it made my preps harder, and it was really hard on my body. And I do have hypothyroid, so it makes it a little bit harder to go through those transitions. I don't talk about it often because I feel like it's not, the biggest thing. It doesn't run my fitness or my career or anything really. It's just that there's highs and lows just with anything. And the times where I am dieting really hard or doing any extra cardio, anything like that, does play a detrimental role on my thyroid. So that's kind of one of the reasons I also want to avoid it. But in the last year since my show, so I got diagnosed with hypothyroid, I want to say like 8 weeks before my show, and instead of being smart and not doing the show, I pushed through it, and my show day was like a complete bust. The water polo didn't work, nothing worked, my body was puffy, I looked like shit, I felt like shit for months after it, and it took me so long to get my body to a healthy state that I'm, to be honest, kind of terrified to put it through that again. And if I do compete, I want to know that I'm in a place where that is not an issue, that I'm eating a ton of food, that I'm doing no cardio when I enter prep, so I have a healthy prep and my thyroid can maintain a fairly balance. So that's just a little side note about what's going on. I will of course continue doing photo shoots because I don't find that puts a lot of stress on my body. So I do have a photo shoot booked with AJK in October, which I'm super excited about. So hopefully once this is cleared out, I can slowly ease back into my training and start training for that. And I'm not doing anything crazy like cutting calories huge or anything, just slow and steady. My diet's been kind of all over the place. It was kind of shit before I got sick, and then I got sick, and then I was eating like nothing. So I'm hoping that just getting into a place of maintenance will actually make me lean out a little bit. And if not, I'll kind of tweak things and see where I need to be. But that's kind of where I'm at now. Who knows what the future holds. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video and kind of give you guys a little bit more of a background of my story and how I got to where I am and the business side of things and how long this really took to build. And I mean, there's lots of other things I can talk about. I could talk probably for days about this business because it is my baby and I love it. And, you know, I obviously take a huge pride in what I do, and that's why I spend so much time on it. And I know that I talked a lot about you have to be committed, and I think that if you do find the right thing and the thing that drives you and the thing that you really love and the thing that is your dream, whether you knew it or not, you will put all of your time and all of your heart and energy into it. So I feel like that's what I've been doing, and I'm going to carry on doing that. I don't see myself ever working for somebody else again. That I don't see. But at this point, this is basically where I see my future. Who knows? I had no idea 10 years ago. So if you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Never hesitate to ask questions. I'm happy to answer them. If you like this video, found it helpful, got some information out of it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out for more. Don't miss out on anything else. See, I can barely talk. I'm really sorry about the hacking and the coughing amongst this video. I've been trying to lock it down. I don't know if you can tell the whole time. I'm like trying to hold it back, but it was difficult. My throat is itchy right now, and I need to have some of that drink. So I'm going to say bye for now. Oh, and before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Darren. I'll leave his contact information below. If you notice, I have a new YouTube intro. So he did it, and it's awesome, and he's awesome. So thanks for that, and thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.